Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram, Ask Adam Torres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Joel Block on the line, and he's the founder over at Bullseye Capital. Joel, welcome to the show.
Hey, Adam, thanks very much. How are you?
All is well, and I'm excited to get into what you're doing over at Bullseye Capital. I see you got a lot going on, and you've been in business for quite some time, so I want to get into that. But before we do, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career in business?
Well, I started as a young CPA out of college. Worked at one of the big CPA firms, and I really wasn't well suited for it. I didn't like it very much. But the last account I worked on was a giant real estate syndicator, and I was assigned to convert the books and records of 500 partnerships into tax returns. And although I didn't like doing the tax work, I loved reading the partnership agreements. And I said, I love what these deal maker guys are doing. I want to be a deal maker too. And I quit Pricewaterhouse and went straight into that business.
Wow, that's amazing. So you gave up, let's just say that that consistent, let's say, path, and you went the entrepreneurial route of becoming a deal maker. So, there's some other people listening right now that, let's say, are maybe they're still at a company like Pricewater, or they're at they have that highly specialized CPA background, or lawyers, or other things, and they're thinking about breaking off and starting their own companies. What kind of advice would you give to that new entrepreneur that's maybe where you started?
Well, listen, I quit when I was 2 years in. I didn't have a family. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have, responsibilities. I didn't have a mortgage. It was very easy for me to leave and not have a big concern. It's a little more difficult as you get further down the path. It doesn't become impossible, but you just have to do a different kind of planning. At the end of the day, money is really about selling, and you got to get people to see what your value is, and if you could help them make the problems that they don't like in their life go away, then they'll pay you for that, and they'll pay you in proportion to the size of how bad that problem is for them. So you really want to think, what are things that you know how to do? How do you make problems go away for people? And then you have to go out and tell people you can do it, and then you have to do it. So the formula is really not that complicated. We tend to make it somewhat complicated. But the truth is, people want simple things. They have things in their life they don't like. They want to make them go away. They want to solve situations. And if we can do it, they'll give us money for it.
That's awesome. I love your simplification of it. And speaking of solving problems and helping people, let's get into what you're doing over at Bullseye Capital. So first, tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Well, this company is an old company. I've had this for almost 30 years. And I went into the deal business. It serves as my manager, the property manager, the kind of the company that does all of my affairs. All my deals run through this company, and it just keeps everything going. Whatever people I have helping me help me through this company. So basically, what our company does is we invest in real estate assets, and I've been in venture capital and other things for many years. And we raise money. And the problem that we solve for people is that, wealthier people, as they start to accumulate money, they start to get frustrated because their money's not working as hard as they are. A doctor in surgery is busy working all day long, and that person is thinking to themselves, gee, I'm working hard. Why isn't my money working hard? And so we take some of those cash assets and put them to work in real estate and other kinds of investments, and then share the profits with our investors. And that's our business model. And Bullseye Capital is the management company that oversees all of those activities and all the investments and things that we make.
So there's a lot of investors listening, and also people that you mentioned, like doctors and other people that are wondering and want to have their money work for them more. Are there any particular types of niches or geographies you work in terms of deals like doing, just so that if somebody's listening to this, to know if they're a right fit to contact the Bullseye Capital?
Well, listen, we've just spent a lot of years in the distressed multifamily and residential asset business. So, houses and apartment buildings that are somewhat distressed, we would turn them around. But the funds have useful lives, and the current fund that we have is now liquidating. We're winding down. We'll probably start something else here pretty quick, and that'll be something a little different, a little more diversified. So I would tell people that, listen, I'm happy to talk to, somebody that is looking for somebody to talk to. I mean, guys like me are not on every street corner, so most people don't know people who manage money. And I'm not talking about a stockbroker who takes the money and then gives it to a trust company and things that, people actually give the money directly to me. My company directly holds on to the money and actually does things with it. So we're principals in those transactions. We put our own money in those transactions. And it's a relationship. We build a team with our investors. So I would say if somebody wants to talk to me, they should just reach out regardless.
That's awesome. Any kind of trends that you care to comment on from your vantage point? I mean, because you've been in the business a long time, you've seen multiple cycles. Any trends you care to comment on?
We just produced our special report, 20 business trends for 2020, and there are many things going on. Number one, the move to subscription revenue. If companies are not organizing themselves around subscription, they're probably going to have some problems. The Uberization of assets, in other words, that assets are being shared and they're being utilized more heavily than in the past. In the past, for example, you'd lease a car and you basically use about 5% of that asset. I mean, you use it 5% of your day and pay for 100% of it. Now people are saying that's really not a smart way to do it. Maybe what we need to do is one person buys the car, uses 60 or 70% of the value of that asset, and the rest of us just pay as we need it. So it's an interesting approach, and that's happening in conference space, swimming pools in your backyard, parks. It's happening in every kind of asset class you could think of, and so Uberization is something else. And there are just, in fact, if people want that trend report, they're welcome to it. It's a free report. They can get it from us.
Awesome. And where do they get that from?
If they open their mobile phone, they go to their texting app. They put in the to box, they put the number 72,000. So they're going to text to 72,000, and then they're going to put the word trend, T-R-E-N-D, trend. So they text the word trend to 72,000, and it will come up to them right away.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for that. That's great. And any kind of trends in real estate? I mean, you're doing deals all the time. Any kind of trends there that you care to comment on?
Listen, younger people do not value real estate the same way that older people have grown accustomed to valuing real estate. And this is changing lots of different things. I'm not any kind of expert on geographic or demographic patterns, but one thing is obvious is that young people just don't want to plant the same kind of roots that people of my generation were taught to. And that's going to make a big difference. But that being said, I think real estate is strong. Interest rates are still low, and most of us are pretty bullish still on real estate.
That's awesome. So, Joel, if somebody is listening to this and they want more information on Bullseye Capital to have a discussion, further discussion about real estate and what's going on, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Probably just go to either joelblock.com, or they can go to bullseyecap.com, and there's lots of information about us and the things that we do and, how they can connect with us. They can also listen to my podcast, Profit from the Inside. We basically, being a longtime Wall Street guy, one of the things that I know is that the biggest companies get the most extraordinary intel from the people on Wall Street, but that information just does not trickle down to the market. So my objective on the Profit from the Inside podcast is to bring a lot of that intel to the middle market. And a lot of secrets and tricks that just don't seem to make their way away from Wall Street. That's why I wrote the trend report, talking about things like subscription revenue and Uberization and some of the things that big companies know they should be doing that small companies are not necessarily thinking about. And that's a big part of it. So they're welcome to go to either of those two places and get lots of info.
Perfect. And the name of the podcast one more time, please. They may not have got it the first time, and I love to help promote great podcasters out there.
Profit from the inside. And basically it's the inside track to strategies for, to help business be successful.
Awesome. Well, hey, Joel, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more of your background and all the great things you're doing over at Bullseye Capital. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. And don't forget to go check out Joel's podcast. Thanks again, Joel, for coming on the show. Thank you.